I can't believe that we're already in the fourth video of my monthly show recap series where I'm talking about all the shows that I've seen within 1 month, and today we're talking about the shows that I've seen in April 2025. If you're interested in other videos of this series, then check out the playlist that I've linked in the comments below. But I'm really curious to know, what are the shows that you've seen in April? Comment below and let me know what you thought of that. If this is your first time on my channel, then welcome. My name is Christina and I'm here to help you have the best London theatre experience. I share my reviews and tips and things about my YouTube journey, so if you like the sound of it, then make sure to subscribe to my channel. The first show that I went to see in April is Titanique. This is one of those shows that I had my eyes on for a while, but I kept postponing to go and see it, not for any particular reason. It was just more kind of like, okay, I'm gonna check it out next month. And I'm so glad that I managed to go and see it in April, because it's one of those shows that really lifts up your mood and makes you feel really entertained. And I think that sometimes, especially if you're going to theater a lot, there are shows that are a bit more serious and, you know, you really want to get into the storyline and they're like a little bit darker and exploring these really deep themes. And when it comes to Titanique, it's just pure fun. The show follows the exact storyline from the movie Titanic, but there is one key difference here, and that is that Celine Dion is the narrator of this show, and all of her songs are also featured as one of the glues that take the story from one place to the other. And that's not the only difference. While the characters from the movie still remain, the dynamics between them are really entertaining, and there's a lot of camp, queer elements to the show that just make everything have double meanings. And there are lots of silly and goofy moments that make this show just such a fun watch. And this was really felt in the audience, because I think everyone who came to see the show knew what to expect. And I think in some ways this also exceeded expectations, because everyone was just like laughing a lot and there was just like a good vibe in the auditorium. And sometimes I really enjoy going to theater to experience some good fun. It's not a show that will be everyone's cup of tea, because it is very camp, it is very out there in terms of the delivery. Like, the comedy is not subtle, it's very on the nose, and there are just like silly moments that for some people it's just not going to be their comedy style. But I would say if you want to go and check it out and you're not sure if this is going to be your cup of tea, then maybe read a few reviews so you can get like a better understanding of what it is about. But if you like Celine Dion, if you like silliness, then there's really not a lot to dislike about this show. The night when I went to see it, it was literally the first performance after Olivia Awards, and this show actually got the award for Best New Entertainment or Comedy Play, which was really exciting. And also Leighton Williams from this musical got an Olivia for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, which was incredible to see, especially because at the end of the show they had a little bit of a speech to kind of share the journey of the musical and how excited the whole cast was that they got awards and recognition. So you could really see how cast is exciting to really deliver this show, especially now when they've got all this acknowledgement. On the night when I went to see this musical, Lauren Drew, who was also nominated for an Olivia Award for Best Actress in a Lead Role, she wasn't performing, but I managed to see Christina Waltz, who was also super entertaining to watch and just had an amazing chemistry with the audience and with the cast. And there are a lot of exchanges with the audience which make the whole thing even more hilarious. So Titanique is a perfect show to check out if you're in for a lighthearted fun about a movie that you probably have watched and about a diva such as Celine Dion that is trying to steal the spotlight every moment that she gets on stage. So there are a lot of humorous elements that you might enjoy. And Titanique is on until January 2026, and tickets go for as low as £35. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, make sure to go and check it out at the Criterion Theatre. The second show that I went to see in April is a Broadway transfer that I was really excited about, and that is the Great Gatsby musical. This is a review that I've already done on the channel, so if you are subscribed, then you probably have seen it. If not, now is the time to subscribe and check out my other reviews as well. This is a musical based on a novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it is set in the 1920s America and New York, and it follows Nick Carraway, who moves to Long Island to start working in New York, and he basically rents out a cottage near a estate that Jay Gatsby owns. And the plot thickens when Jay Gatsby realizes that Nick's cousin is his love interest, Daisy, who he was involved with before the war, but then since Daisy got married, and she lives in this mansion that actually Jay Gatsby can see from his terrace, and he's throwing these parties hoping to catch her attention and for the two of them to meet again. And as Nick moves into this cottage that he rents out, basically this is a perfect opportunity for Jay Gatsby to get closer to Daisy, which is what he does, and that's where the story story evolves from. The Great Gatsby is a very famous story, so I'm sure that you might have even checked out the movie of the same name with Leonardo DiCaprio, or maybe even read the novel. It is a very acclaimed and famous novel, and this is the reason why adapting something like that could be a bit tricky. And The Great Gatsby musical did not disappoint. Jamie Muscato and Frances Mailey McCann are in the leading roles, and they are fantastic. Their voices are absolutely mesmerizing, as well as Rachel Tucker and Corbin Bleu. Like, all of the cast is creme de la creme. And this is not the only part where this show excels in. There's also staging, which is really dynamic and fun, costumes that are beautiful, and generally the vibe of the show is like being at one giant party. But maybe what this show falls a little bit flat for me is music. While there are some really engaging and catchy numbers, especially Roaring On, which I really like, which is the opening and closing number, there aren't too many musical numbers that I kind of remembered after the show or that I wanted to check out or listen to again. And maybe one thing that I felt could have been stronger is the lyrics, because there isn't a lot of that pain that is communicated, because ultimately this is a very tragic story that doesn't end well, spoiler alert. There are so many nuances to this story, and actually when I was reading a little bit about The Great Gatsby in general, the story written in here about the class differences and how Jake Gatsby couldn't marry Daisy initially because her father would disapprove of him because he didn't have money, this very much reflects F. Scott Fitzgerald experiences. So it is a deeply personal story that I think really is rooted in that inequality and differences between classes and navigating that in the 1920s America. So I don't think that that has been communicated that well, but I think overall, if you are just up for seeing this adaptation of the novel on stage, then you are gonna have a good time. There are plenty of fascinating elements in the show, and just the talent in the show is spectacular. So I do think that this is absolutely a show worth checking out. This is a limited run of this show, which you can see at the London Coliseum until September 2025. So if this sounds like something you would enjoy seeing, then check it out, because tickets go for as low as £20. After two musicals that I've seen at the beginning of the April, I craved a play, and there was one play that I had my eyes on, and that was Retrograde. This is a really powerful play written by Ryan Calais Cameron, and this is not the first show by this writer that I've seen. He's also written for Black boys who have considered suicide when the hue gets too heavy, and honestly it's one of the most incredible pieces of writing that I've seen. The way that Ryan writes really welcomes questioning and seeing things from different perspectives, and it kind of always keeps you a little bit on the edge of what is right and what is wrong, and he always allows it in his writing to see where each character is coming from and how the decisions that each character is making in the show kind of make sense from their perspective, and that's where this play really excels. So Retrograde is a play about one particular moment in Sidney Poitier's life, and Sidney Poitier was an actor and activist, and he's actually the first Black actor and first Bahamian to win an Academy Award for Best Actor. But his journey was not easy, and this play captures one particular meeting in 1955 when Sidney was 28 years old and was about to be offered a breakthrough role. And the whole play happens in an office where the writer, Bobby, and the lawyer, Daniel, are firstly conversing about Sidney, discussing his race, discussing his talent. Bobby is very much backing him up because they're pals and they hang out with each other, and he really wants Sidney to have his big break. However, Daniel, who is a lawyer, he has a very different attitude and view of the world and sees Poitier as an opportunity to exploit his own interests, and is really trying to bend Poitier's views and opinions and make him into something that will fit the network, that he will represent, and ultimately take a stance against certain things that actually Poitier didn't want to take stance against. So the whole show, which lasts about an hour and a half without interval, is condensed into that meeting, that scene where basically Sidney Poitier arrives, the two of them are in this office, and then they start having these exchanges that are mostly uncomfortable, a lot of the times also really funny, but at the very core of it there are so many issues of racism, of manipulation, and just like trying to make this actor fit into the mold that the network that is offering offering him a role as wanting him to be. It's a very much show about integrity, racism, about all the things that people like Sidney Poitier needed to endure and be okay with in these circumstances, just so they don't seem like they are not cooperative or that they aren't ready to, you know, go to lengths to achieve the success and lend the role that he clearly is excited to be cast as. So there are so many different layers to this story, but I think the cast is absolutely incredible and they deliver this with so much conviction, and genuinely they make you feel like you're in the room witnessing what's happening, and there's so much anger that you feel when you're witnessing these exchanges. And when Sidney Poitier is forced to make such horrible decisions, this is definitely a show that will make you think about things, that will make you see things from a different perspective and will engage you quite a lot. Ivano Jeremiah is playing Sidney Poitier and his delivery is impeccable. The whole cast is incredibly talented. The catch with this play is that they don't have any performances on Mondays and Tuesdays, so it's the rest of the week that you will need to find time to go and see it. And it actually closes in June, mid-June, so you still have some time to go and check it out, but definitely keep an eye on this. This is a production that originally premiered at the Kiln Theatre in Kilburn, and basically this is a transfer, so it is gonna end soon, but it is a story worth checking out. April's been a little bit lighter month for me in terms of the shows that I went to see because I was traveling for about 10 days, but I managed to squeeze another one in, and it is one of my all-time favorites, if not the favorite show of all time. You know that I'm talking about Hadestown. I wanted to go and check this out again because the cast has changed. If you watch my recap from February, you're gonna see that I'm talking about seeing the original cast, which is a dream come true. I love this musical so much, and seeing the original Broadway cast in London was everything I hoped for, and I honestly thought that nothing would top that experience. But I was really curious to go and check out the new London cast that just opened basically as soon as the OG cast reunion ended. So they started with performances mid-March, and I was like, okay, I really want to go and see them. I'm not sure if this is too soon to go and check out Hadestown again, but basically I had a spare evening and I managed to get a rush ticket for £30, and I was sitting in stalls, really good seats, so I would 100% recommend you go and try rush tickets for Hadestown if you are willing to go and see this musical for a slightly cheaper price. And honestly, the new cast has a completely different energy and vibe to the show that I was insanely impressed by them. I've seen Hadestown so far 3 times, and I was cautious this time because I was thinking this can go either way, but these guys in the new London cast have delivered phenomenal performances. So Eurydice is played by Desmonda Cathabel and Orpheus is played by Dylan Wood. And what I really liked about this version of Hadestown is that all of the leads and all of the cast have brought something unique and different to this role. So for example, Desmonda's Eurydice is very flirty and cheeky, and just like you can tell that she has a lot of life energy in her, but there's also a lot of sadness. And her relationship with Orpheus is also very playful, and there's a lot of laughter and just little moments where they're kind of like teasing each other or making funny faces at each other and things like that, which I kind of haven't seen before, not even with the original cast. Dylan Wood's Orpheus is equally naive and also very certain of what he wants, which I think is a new way to see Orpheus, because a lot of the times Orpheus is portrayed in a more mellow way, as in like he's just in love with Eurydice and he is in love with his art and creation and he believes in this better life, whereas with Dylan there is such strong conviction when it comes to this character, and that relationship that he has with Eurydice also injects so much power and love into him as well. So it was fantastic witnessing the two of them, especially for a show that I love so much. It's a really high praise. Victoria Hamilton Barrett is playing Persephone, Chris Jarman plays Hades, and Cedric Neal plays Hermes. So this is the lead cast at the moment, and I managed to see all of them, so that was fantastic. Honestly, I feel like I'm going to do a whole new video about Hadestown and my interpretation of it, because this is the musical that I feel has touched me in a way that no other musical has ever had, and I'm sure that I will be seeing this a few more times. Maybe not this year, maybe I will this year, but I can't wait to see it again. It's that good. So if you haven't seen Hadestown, you have to check it out. It is a show that will be on until 2026, so there's plenty of tickets available. There are tickets for cheaper prices, so go to Lyric Theatre and check out Hadestown because you won't regret it. And that's it. These are all the shows that I have seen in April. I'm hoping to see more shows in May, and I'm gonna bring them to you. But if you're interested in seeing the rest of my recap videos, then check out this playlist that I made where you can check out all the shows that I've seen since January.